It's been a long week. I've been working on just relaxing a little bit because
Hmm.
I came off of a very busy weekend working on a production.
Ooh,
So
okay.
um, it's been smooth though, and I'm also working on relocating to Atlanta. So it's been a lot
Mm.
of planning and talking to realtors, and
Mhm.
you know how it goes. So
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Cause you move from state to state, so that's a lot. It's one thing to move from one side of town to another side, or from town to town, from state to state. That's a totally different animal. So, what
yeah.
kind of production was you was working on? If you don't mind me asking.
So I work as an intimacy coordinator for film and television, which is basically serving as an advocate and a liaison for actors between the director and the production team. So whenever a film or a TV show or any type of like film project has scenes of intimacy
Mm,
or nudity, I'm the one that goes in and makes sure that I handle the actors' boundaries and their modesty garments and barriers, and
mm,
helping the director with bringing the vision for these scenes to life with choreography and
mm,
emotion. And so I was working on a student film. Um, a student director from Northwestern University had a
mm.
script that was very heavy in nudity and simulated sex. And so I was working on those scenes over the weekend, and we had long days, like 9 a.m. call time, 9:30 p.m. wrap time.
Hmm.
So I was exhausted. I was exhausted.
Oh, I could believe it, cause it's funny, cause that's funny that you said that. The area you talking about, because shouts out to T Million, aka Mr. Tubi, because I've been on Tubi hard.
Uh-huh.
And one thing, and I've been watching a lot of the black, independent filmmakers,
Mhm.
and they really make it a point to make the lovemaking scene genuine. First of all, authentic and real looking, even though they're not actually doing the do.
Right.
You kind of can't tell, but so much, Period. So it's kind of like how do you coach them to in the lovemaking scene?
So it's basically, you have to start with what's the motivation?
Hmm.
What is this scene for? Because in mainstream films, sex is added in as a way to tell a story or move the plot along. And
Hmm.
so it's all about, what's happening in this scene, who's initiating the action, what kind of action is it, um,
Hmm.
what type of energy or emotion is fueling the scene, how does the
Hmm.
scene end, how it's being framed up, how it's being shot. And then you have to also base it on the actors' boundaries. So let's say the
Hmm.
actors are like, well, I'm okay with rear nudity, but I'm
Hmm.
not okay with frontal. Or
Hmm.
like, for instance, maybe an actor isn't okay with being seen in simulating fellatio or simulating
Hmm.
cunnilingus, or oral on a partner.
Hmm.
Then it would determine how the choreography is set up. So,
Hmm.
excuse my dog, he's in the background.
Oh, don't
Um,
worry. My cat will be walking back by in a couple of minutes, knowing Zazzy, because she always love to get seen on the screen. But go ahead.
Oh, so basically, once we talk about the movements and how the director wants to see it, then we let the actors act. So it's a collaborative effort between myself, the director, and the actors doing what they do. And so I will come in and say, hmm, maybe shift this way or that way.
Hmm.
I'm just giving them advice on how to make it look more realistic. And so intimacy coordinating is a new kind of a job for film and television.
Yeah, actually, because that's it. Because like from talking to T Million, he said he wanted, because what we discussed was that he wanted to use porn actresses more, because he did a whole movie that had strippers in it. And he said they killed it. I forgot the movie he was telling me about. And even with the movie that I watched doing research, Swap Out. Man, that sex scene was off the chain. Dude had it looked like he was literally had the dick in the pussy almost. And even with the oral scene, the way he had the camera was, you saw her eyes. You didn't see no dick in the mouth, of course, but you saw her eyes, so it'll make you wonder, like, is she really sucking the dick or what have you? But it helped the movie and the intensity of the movie because, you know, for people that they have listened to the show, when I talked about swap out, the whole point was it was couple swapping, and the dude didn't even know that he was being swapped. You know, period. And they talked about that. I even asked him, I said, well, why did you have them have the conversation? Was there something on purpose that you left out? He said, yeah, because sometimes you get pulled in because of the situation, but you don't know how your mate will react once it's over. But it was just the sex scenes was, you know, look real legitimate, you know, period. So it's kind of like, to me, that is cool that they developed a position for that, because you kind of would need someone to kind of coach them, to help them feel comfortable. Because even with porn, you have a lot of times girls are scared to talk about their boundaries, and even the men, you know, period, on set, even before they do a scene. Especially the men, because a man may not want his ass touched, and then something happened, and then his dick go limp, and then he feels some type of way, and the scene is messed up. So do you think that's a position that even the porn industry should have?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the porn industry should have intimacy coordinators on set, because primarily it's all about creating consent and safety. And even though real sex is happening on porn sets, real abuse is happening on porn sets as well, where, you know, once an act, and it's usually with actresses. So once an actress professes that she's uncomfortable or she wants to stop, a lot of times, like, that's not being honored. And so I think that the porn industry should definitely be utilizing intimacy coordinators more. And I wonder on how many of the sets that of the films that end up on Tubi, I wonder how many of those sets actually use intimacy coordinators, and how many of them are actually still just winging it, you know, making the responsibility of creating those scenes, like leaving that to the director. That I'm going to look into that, because I'm looking for more work.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you this now. Hit up my man T Million, because he could probably use you.
Well, if you can send me his info after this in an email, that would be wonderful.
I got you. I got you. Hello, smokers, and welcome to the Smokers Lounge. As you see, we started off hot and heavy like we always do. I'm your host, Kavanaugh, the Southern Champ, a.k.a. the Porn Rap Star. Find all my links with one link, allmylinks.com/Porn Rap Star. Let me tell you about 4 wonderful sponsors that has been helping us out a whole lot. The first one being the Facebook, the LS Community, lsworld.com. Next up, the hottest adult magazine in the game, HorizonMagazine.com. Also, for you content creators, 90% profit, no hashtag issues. And for you consumers, a new place to consume your XXX content. And black-owned ExciteBunny.com. Last but not least, we're talking about award-winning, award-nominated Smut with voiceover, and they even have a VR section that you can watch porn with your Oculus. I'm talking about BlushErotica.com. Also, we're a proud member of the GW District Black Podcasting Network. So go over to shopgwdistrict.com and buy black and support black businesses, as you get to buy products from over 500 black-owned retailers and shops. Also, in the mornings, go over to Fully Swap Radio and listen to me chop it up with ladies like herself and many of the industry's top talent as we talk about the business of porn, sexuality, BDSM, and everything up under the sun at FullySwapRadio.com. Also, check me out on SkyhawkAfterDarkTV.com, as well as the BGP LLC app. Now, I'm going to sit back and let this lady that teaches lady how to ride dick also help people that hasn't had sex in a minute get back into the swing of things. And as you can see, she also teaches the actors how they pose to fuck on set. Introduce her gorgeous self.
Hello, my name is Tayomi Morgan. Online, I'm known as Glamazon Tayomi. I'm a certified sexologist, authentic tantra practitioner, the founder of the Cowgirl Workout, the only sensual movement fitness program designed to help women improve in riding and intimate movement and build body confidence. And I am a sex coach, 12 years in the game, coaching couples and singles on how to embrace their sexuality and experience more pleasure in their lives. Also the founder of the Pleasure Academy and soon coming Sexpert Business Academy, teaching other coaches in the game how to have successful and thriving businesses as sex coaches. I'm also the resident sex expert for the Exotica Expo, the largest expo dedicated to love and sex in the US, and I'm also their seminar coordinator. So we are the only large-scale event that does 4 shows a year that provides free comprehensive sex education to the masses, which I'm very proud to be a part of and be a curator of. And also the founder of Glamoerotica101.com, which is my blog site where I provide free information about sexual health for the masses, and a YouTube channel under the same name, currently at 625,000 subscribers in counting. So I have been in this game for a long time. I am coming upon my 12 years in, and it feels like I'm just getting started. So even though I'm a seasoned vet in the game, there's so much more to do, so much more to go. And as he mentioned too, I'm also an intimacy coordinator, which is a person who is a liaison between the actors and production in mainstream film and television, where there are simulated scenes of sex and also scenes of nudity. And I'm proud to do this job. It's a new job that I just stepped into. And yeah, I'm excited to be here with all you smokers.
Yes, yes, yes. And now we're gonna begin with the riding the dick. Because I've talked to a lot of ladies and they do not like to ride dick, especially on the BBW side of things. A lot of times they say they feel they're too big or what have you, or is not comfortable. A lot of times it's really about not being comfortable in doing it.
Right.
Period. And to me, especially in porn, if you got a big booty, they want to see you ride.
Yes, absolutely.
And me as a man, I like my dick roll, period. So why do you think a lot of females don't feel comfortable in riding dick?
Well, I think they don't feel comfortable riding dick because primarily they're not comfortable in their bodies, and their bodies aren't trained in a way where it can support the ride. So it's a very physical activity. And what I find unfair is that in heteronormative relationships where it's a man or a penis owning person and a woman or a vagina owning person together, it's usually the penis owning person that's doing most of the work, doing most of the strokes. And so I always tell my clients, like, the least you can do is get up there for 3 minutes. But 3 minutes seems like a stretch for a lot of women because they're not in shape. And when I say in shape, I don't mean being a particular shape, like your body being a particular shape, but being fit enough to handle the endurance of the ride. Because you have several things that are going on, right? You got to know how to breathe. One of the reasons why a lot of women tire quickly, like within the first 30 seconds, is because they don't have the proper breath control. And then on top of that, they don't have the right stroke technique. So a lot of them are scooting on the dick, which, a scoot is like an honorable mention, but it shouldn't be the main, like the main stroke pattern used when on top. And then they complain about their knees hurting, lower back hurting, and their hips feeling tight. So when they get on top and they straddle in that traditional position, where the body is like really flat, then your hip flexors and the muscles in the hips are burning because they haven't done the work to strengthen those areas, and then they don't know how to actually move. So there's a lot of mechanical things with the body that's happening. And then on top of that, you're in your full glory. You are seen. Everything is seen. So women who don't feel confident in what their bodies look like, and women who also don't feel confident in how they're moving, are going to get up in their heads. And it's that mental aspect that's going to shut everything down. So a lot of women would prefer to be, on the bottom or in doggy style. And even with that, like when I teach women how to ride, I'm teaching them how to stroke in any position, whether it's from the bottom or it's, if they're in doggy style or if they're on top. Because once you know how to stroke on top, then you know how to stroke back in any position. So I understand why it's uncomfortable for a lot of women, especially BBWs. And I tell my larger clients, because I coach people from like petite women to large women, full of figured women. I'm a full of figured woman. I've been a size 10, 12 most of my life. So I always tell my clients, like, don't use your size as a crutch. If you really want to get up there and do it, you can do it. You just have to put in the work. And so this is why I created a fitness program. Because I'm like, I don't know how you could teach somebody how to ride dick without strengthening their core, strengthening their body, and helping them with breath control and showing them the mechanics of how to do it. And also different positionings, because the traditional straddle position might not be comfortable, but there are several different variations of positions and stroke patterns that anyone could use at any time. So I'm working on a book about this because there's no real curriculum written around how to ride. So I'm working on just like cornering the market in dick riding, because a lot of classes have popped up recently, but I've been touring with this class since 2016. I've been international with my class, and I got proven results. So, I just want to encourage more women to get up there, because it's how you control your pleasure. Like, you get to be in control over how much dick you get to receive. You get to change the pacing and control the depth of the stroke. And like, you get to snatch a soul. You snatch them. He ain't going nowhere, because dick riders are rare. Like, good dick riders are rare. So
so true, so true. Because me, don't get you. I love the dog out the mission, but I like a girl that can ride a dick, and the reason why, because one, it gives me rest, and two, just the way the pussy feels, the way she moves her body, the way the ass moves up on the dick and everything, especially versus doing the scoop where she's twerking on the dick and stuff like that. So what's some of the exercise that you show ladies that helps them, strengthen their core and learn how to ride a dick?
So one of the main complaints, right, is like, my knees hurt. So I've designed workouts where we don't even have to get on our knees. We'll either use a fitness ball or we'll use a chair. And all these movements are like lower body movements. So I have a background in dance and also a background in physical fitness. And so everything that we do is using our own body weight. We'll do crunches. We'll do fire hydrants. We'll do butterflies. We'll do dead bugs. Like, there's a bunch of different exercises that we do to strengthen the glutes and the hamstrings and quads. And then, of course, we'll do like variations of crunches. But when it comes to building the muscle memory for the moves, it's all hip isolations that are like winding movements, or movements where the body is undulating or rolling. And so they're kind of like the elements of like twerk dance. And like I said, winding, because like, I grew up twerking. I'm from Chicago. We are home with house music, and I grew up.
Y'all came up with the percolator. Let's stop playing.
Yes, we did. We came up with house music, period. Okay, so I don't want to have to fight nobody over that, but just go do your research. So, I grew up on juke music, and juke music was like a new version of house music, and it's really fast. You can footwork to it and all that, but also you gotta throw some ass. So I've grown up knowing how to throw ass. And so when it came to developing the cowgirl workout, I was like, oh, riding dick is very similar to these dance movements. Because they always say, oh, if she can dance, well, then she know how to fuck.
Well,
Not always true, because it's different when you have a dick inside. It really is. So
it makes a big difference.
It does, because you could be on the dance floor doing all this stuff, but then you get in the bedroom and don't know how to do it on a dick. Like, so I train my clients and I tell them, like, with the moves that you're learning, we do them in repetition over and over again, because it builds muscle memory. So that way, when it's time to get on the dick, you know how to move, and most importantly, you know how to breathe. Because some women are getting on top before the vagina is completely open. This is where that tightness comes in. So once the vagina is fully open, and we can achieve that through relaxation and deep breathing that generates relaxation through activating the rest and digest response. So once the pelvis is completely relaxed, the vagina is open, then she can get on top. And then when you're on top, you're not like, you don't have to have long strokes. Now, this depends on the size of the dick, because the longer the dick, the more space you're going to need. But for the most part, the dick should stay inside, most of it, at least the head, at minimum. And so I always tell my clients, you only need 1 to 3 inches of space between your pelvis and your partner's pelvis. So with creating that space, you need some core strength. You know, you got to be able to like leverage yourself a little bit. And then also in how the knees are positioned matters, and the feet. So for those that have issues with kneeling, I'm like, you don't have to ride in a bed. You can either ride in a chair, which allows you to have your feet flat, or you can ride on the couch. Now you'll still be in straddling position on the knees, but there's even more, like there's cushion on the couch. But then also with the pelvis being situated at like a 90-degree angle, then the angle of penetration is a lot easier for her to access and ride a lot easier. So, you know, I have 60-minute workouts and 20-minute workouts, and soon come 10-minute workouts, because my clients are always like, well, what if I don't have time to do a 60-minute? I'm like, I'm not going to give you any excuses. We're going to do these 20 and 10-minute workouts, and that's going to be enough for you. Because honestly, the average amount of time that penetrative sex lasts is anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes. And that's average. Because I know some people out there probably like, what is that? But that's average. So if you can do a 10-minute workout and you can do those moves consistently, then you're already winning. So it's a matter of just putting in the work. And I've had some amazing testimonials from women on how the workout has improved their lives. And their partners thank me. Like their partners are
I'm pretty sure they probably send you flowers out this motherfucker. Thank you, baby. God, the bedroom has gotten better.
You know what's funny? Some people don't even tell their partners that they're taking my class, and so their guys be looking at them suspicious, like,
"Are you fucking somebody else?"
Right, exactly. How you learn this? How you improve? But they don't want to tell them they're taking the class. So.
Yeah, because women don't realize a dude like to get rolled. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. Not every we might not say nothing, because I always say the 5 things y'all say fuck a dude, it takes a half of one for us to say fuck y'all. And we won't even tell you. You know, period. And a lot of time a dude want his dick rolled. He's just afraid to say it, or he may not say it. You know, period. You know, and like I said, and for speaking as a man, a girl getting on top and her being able to ride, one, you'd be surprised how fast you'll make us come.
I tell
and how hard you'll make us come off a ride.
I always tell my clients, riding can be a finishing move. If you want sex to end and you want to finish, also if you want to get pregnant and you're ovulating, get on top. Yeah. Because if you get him when he's at about a 7 in the arousal scale, they go from 7 to 10 real quick. So you get on top and you do the right combo. What? And then you feel him about to come. You clench down with them thighs. And you keep going and you ride through the orgasm, baby.
You ain't lying. He be sitting there just
fatality.
He be pushing all, get off of me, goddammit. I need a moment.
I love it. I there's always a moment where their eyes, it's funny. It's like a mixture of amazement, bewilderment, a little bit of fear, and also intense pleasure, all wrapped up at the same time. Because I keep eye contact personally. Like I keep eye contact when I'm riding the dick, because I'm like, I want you to know that I did this to you. Period. Remember this face.
And people don't realize that with men, it's the experience, it's the smell, it's the look, it's the touch. You know, period. That what gets us off. The moaning, because if she's riding the dick and she's moaning, she's seeing that she's enjoying it, it gets him off even harder.
Yes.
You know, especially when we know she about to come and she start riding that motherfucker harder. Yep. Oh shit! Get slapped the ass.
Yep. Yeah. All of that.
Yeah, because I even said this too. Even with dudes, we have to be at our hardest when she rides.
Yes.
Because if you're not at your hardest, you're gonna slip out every time.
Exactly. You know? And my clients, so that's one of the things, like I always answer any questions they have, and I always tell them, gotta get on top when he's rock hard. Otherwise, it's just going to keep slipping out and you're going to be frustrated. And the only thing you're going to be doing is just rubbing your coochie on a flaccid dick, which is fine. It could feel pleasurable, but it's not going to be a ride for real. You know, it's just going to feel very wet and very gummy like.
Yeah.
So, and for some, they might enjoy that. And so you can do that because it's like it's, you know, it's a grind. It's a grind up against the pelvises. So, you know, to each their own. But if you want a successful ride, the erection has to be there.
Oh yeah, because it's just like with anal. I said a lot of positions, a guy has to be his hardest to pull it off, even with anal.
Yeah.
You know, and ride anal and ride is the two positions that you got to be the hardest. You can be limp and do missionary dog, you know, but ride, especially when you keep it in, you have to be extra hard.
Yep.
You know, period. And also, I think also one of the things that you teach ladies is how to position themselves on the man's body.
Exactly.
Also, because a lot of times ladies don't understand the positioning of how you is on his body is going to be telltale how much pleasure you get, how much of the dick you getting in, and whether it stays in.
Exactly. Because, you know, I always tell my clients, like, do a survey first of the dick. Like, once you penetrate yourself, do just like a quick little push back a few times just to see how it feels. Get yourself in the right position so you can have the stroke trajectory practice, right? And then like where the hands are positioned matters. And it all depends on the size of your partner. Like slimmer men can you know, hands can be placed on the bed. Larger men, hands on the body somewhere, the belly, the chest, even the shoulders. So, you know, all of these things come into play when it comes to riding. And so, and then it's like you have to make these decisions very quick. It's like a few seconds, right? So knowing this, I think for a lot of women, it's intimidating because no one's ever taught them how to do it. And there's that whole fear of embarrassment of getting up there and not knowing how to move, not knowing where to put your hands, and just feeling like a failure. Because I've definitely been there. And this is why I teach this, because I did not like the fact that a sex position bested me. Hell no. I refuse to let riding be the thing that takes me out, or for riding to be something that I don't know how to do. Like I want to be a sex goddess. This is what I told myself in my early 20s. Like, be a sex goddess. I'm gonna master all this shit, because if it's one thing I don't want to ever be a hindrance in any of my romantic partnerships is sex. And so I started studying the mechanics of everything and broke it down and was like, okay, this is the science. This is how it's gonna work. And so I stand on what I've created, because I know it works. I've seen it work in my life, and I've seen it work in the lives of my clients. So
yeah, because I'm sorry, ladies, y'all need to do her course, because you'd be surprised what riding can do to a marriage. I ain't even gonna lie. Now, speaking about intimacy, because you know, because your assistant, people, Subtle Flex, she has an assistant.
Oh no, that's my publicist.
They're her publishers. Subtle Flex, she has her publishers. You know what I'm saying? That means you doing good shit. You got a publishers. One of the things that you specialize is helping people get back into being intimate. Because you have some people that go long periods of time not being intimate.
Oh yeah.
You know, especially within a marriage. And it preach to and speak to why it's not a good thing to go long term or long time within a marriage. Don't hurt yourself now, baby.
Sorry, I got my light right, but it's actually faulty.
Yeah. You know, go ahead.
So this situation is interesting because it's not always black and white, right? So I think one of the mistakes that a lot of couples make is around thinking that the sex is going to remain the same as it did when they were dating, or when they were engaged and in that honeymoon phase, and even in the very beginning of their marriage. Over time, things are going to shift and change. And sometimes couples enter into marriages with a sexless relationship. I know quite a few people, and I have had clients who have done this, where every other box checks off, but the sex is not there. But they love that person and they're willing to, they can't imagine life without that person. And so they go into the marriage knowing that this is something that they could potentially fix. But the issue is that a lot of couples believe it's going to fix itself, and it's not. If you already are not having sex and you don't have the tools to know how to fix it, why do you think it's going to magically fix itself? This is why you need a coach. And so what ends up happening is if a couple is going long term without sex, they just become comfortable with the dynamic and they're suffering in silence. So you'll have one partner that probably is okay with not having sex, but the other one is like, I'm going stir crazy, but I want to be faithful to my person. And so then in comes the idea of wanting to negotiate, but all of the emotional stuff comes in. So if the one partner who does want to have sex approaches the other who really doesn't care for it or doesn't care whether it happens or not, now all of a sudden it turns into an attack because like, oh, well, what's wrong with me? Why can't you just be satisfied with this? And so this is why a coach is needed, because both parties will be able to get to communicate what they need to without it coming off as I'm attacking you, or I think you're less than, or I think you're not good enough. That's not at all. You got to reach a middle ground. There has to be something that can be worked out. And sometimes it's a mental health issue. Sometimes it's a trauma issue. Sometimes it's a physiological issue. Sometimes it's a sociological issue. Sometimes financials play into it, or the family dynamic, or even culture. Culture can play into it. And then all these things could be happening at once. So this is why I always tell people, like, to think that you're going to work it out by yourself without having a coach who can clearly see where the issues are is far-fetched. And if you truly are having issues in your relationship where you want to connect sexually and you're not, hire a coach to help you navigate that stuff. Because once you uncover one layer that's blocking the sexual connection, then it's going to be something else underneath that and something else underneath that. So you have to have tools to be able to manage that stuff when it does happen. And then also expanding the idea of what sex looks like, and also expanding the idea of what intimacy looks like. Because even if you're not having penetrative sex, there are still things that can be interacted with that will deepen intimacy and deepen an intimate bond, or things that can be romantic in nature that will still keep that fire alive while you're working on the penetrative sex part of your relationship. And, sex doesn't have to be penis centric. It doesn't. And so expanding it outside of that, especially if you are a kinky person, well, you can still enjoy sex on a whole nother level. So I always encourage couples to really be honest about where they're at in their sexual journey with each other and get a coach. Because some people don't even want to admit that they're in a sexless relationship, right? Especially when you're married. Because it's assumed that, you out here getting it in because, you're with a partner who you're committed to, and it's assumed, like, if you're married, you're having sex. And that's
not the case. No.
Statistically, that's not the case. Most marriages are sexless marriages. And I'm not married yet, but I refuse. Got me all the way fucked up. I will not.
I'm going to ask you this. Is it usually on the woman's side or the man's side? Because a lot of times, the way society, social media, period, TV, is always the woman that don't want to have it, and it's the man. But sometimes that's not always the case.
It's not. I actually am working with a couple now where the man is having the issue. And it's because of past trauma and, being trauma bonded in most of his sexual situations. And so, it's not always the woman's that doesn't want it. I have had a lot of situations with clients where the woman has a high sex drive and her husband does not. Or like his body size is the issue because like maybe he has a really big belly and she can't really see the dick. And so she loves this man, but they're not having sex because of his size, and they don't know how to work around it. There's so many different like issues that can exist around why couples aren't having sex, but it's not always, oh, the woman doesn't want to do it. Sometimes the woman wants to do it a lot, and her man is working a lot and he's not around, and when he comes home he's tired and doesn't want to engage. So yeah, it is, I would say, a misconception that it's more mostly coming from the side of the woman not wanting to have sex when it's a sexless relationship.
Yeah, because it's funny. Like I was talking to a guy on Instagram. It's a couple that I guess he's grooming. He's trying to groom me so I can be a male unicorn per se. And he basically talks about, he said since the kids led the nest, she's becoming more wanting to have sex. She's hypersexual and stuff, and he can't keep up and everything, period. And sometimes what people don't realize is the man does feel some type of way because he taps into his ego.
Exactly.
Because he feels like, I should be able to handle it. And sometimes a dude has to be okay with the fact that his wife wants it more than him.
Women actually are more sexual, possess stronger sexual energy than men. We honestly are insatiable when our sexual energy is balanced and we're connected with it. And think about it. Our orgasms are not attached to procreation. We can orgasm without like our seed being attached to it. I mean, men can too. It's just a matter of them doing the work to become multi-orgasmic. But our orgasms power us up. So we have orgasm, we're going to keep going and going and going and going and going. And I always say, like, women are like tea kettles, You put us on the stove, you start warming us up, and then once we get hot and the water starts to percolate, then it takes a while for that tea kettle to cool down. Men or people with penises, the erections happen quickly. You shoot up, and then you come back down. And then you have to have your refractory period before you can go again. And depending on your health, depending on your age, that refractory period could be a few minutes or it could be some days. So, people think, I don't know where this whole myth came, and I think it was from misogyny and, of course, patriarchal reign. But this idea that women are secondary.
They want it to be that men are the sexual creatures.
No,
that's the way we're supposed to be taught, period. Because we have multiple women, because we have this, we have that, but that's not the case. Women are way more sexual. Why? Because they are able to have multi-orgasmic, like shotguns, like this. Like she can have an orgasm back to back to back to back to back. Very few men. Like, for example, like with me, not bragging on myself, I can come and stay hard and continue stroking. Not every man has that ability, period. Not every man able to come back to back to back. Or he might be one shot now. It's just funny how this the male talents, it takes them they'll shoot 2 scenes a day. They'll shoot 1 in the morning. It takes them a whole day or a whole couple of hours to get back to ready to roll or what have you. So I think it's more of, like they said, history, his story. Men, we put that out there to make ourselves feel good.
Right.
Because it's about penal envy. Not penal envy, penal ego, as I like to call it.
Penal ego, I like that term because it's true. And a lot of women end up suppressing their sexual desires and their sexual energy because their male partners can't keep up, or their partners don't want it as much as they do. And I think that's sad because, again, personally, I'm not about to be in a relationship where I'm not getting it in. Like, what are we doing here? And I know that sex isn't the only important thing in a relationship. It's important to me, though. Sex is very important to me. It's medicine.
Oh hell yeah!
It's the way that I connect deeply with my partner. Like sex is like a meditation for me. So if I could start my morning off with sex and then meditation, and then break my fast, that's a complete morning for me. And stretching, stretching and exercise, come on, full on morning. That's great. So
Yes.
I think too, some people feel apprehensive around actually admitting how important sex is to them. Because
Mm.
if they did admit that out loud to themselves and their partners, then they would
Mm-hmm.
prioritize it. They
Mm-hmm.
would prioritize working on it. But
Mm-hmm.
people think that sex is supposed to be this spontaneous thing. Some people have spontaneous desire where it just comes out of nowhere and they're just ready to do the thing. And then some
Mm-hmm.
people have responsive desire where it has to be triggered by something or activated
Mm-hmm.
by something.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be activated by a scent, it could be activated by a visual, or it could be activated as soon as they start being interacted with in a flirty way or a sexual way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so knowing that there's different desire styles and then
Mm-hmm.
also different ways that people express themselves erotically, it's like you can't just assume anything.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not telling your person or the people that you're in relationship with that sex is important to you, they ain't gonna be mind readers. They're just gonna be like, oh, well, we're just gonna let it be what it is. And if it happens, it happens. I'm not a if it happens, it happens person. I'm
Mm-hmm.
planning my sex. Like I'm scheduling it, especially
Yeah.
with being a business owner. I
Yes.
have to, and I don't have, I'm poly, and so I
Mm-hmm.
don't have like partners like that or lovers
Mm-hmm.
like that in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to plan it. I got to put it on my schedule. I got to figure out, okay, when I go to this city, who's in this city? Okay, let me see if I can connect with this person if they have time. And we got to put it on the calendar.
Mm-hmm.
And lovers who are feel some kind of way about that, I'm like, well, then you just won't access me because you can't just roll up on me spontaneously. It's not going to happen like that.
Which goes back to, like I said before, see what you did is what I've been saying. Sometimes we don't take into account what it takes to be with us. We always sit there and say, well, I want this person to be this. Okay, then what about you? Period.
Right.
Because like you, I'm a business owner. So that means my time, I'm sitting here doing interviews. I'm sitting here working a 9 to 5,
Right.
So it's kind of like sometimes you got to schedule and put time in to get that dick appointment,
Yeah.
and a lot of people feel shamed about that. That's the other thing.
It's crazy to me because I'm like, why do you just think that things are just going to spontaneously happen for you when it comes to sex? It's not. Sex is not just going to fall into your lap. It's the same thing, like, the phrase from the Bible, faith without works is dead. You could sit
Mm-hmm.
up here all day and have faith that you're going to have some orgasms today that's delivered by your person. But
Mm-hmm.
if you don't put in the work, meaning putting in the work to make sure that you are in a situation where that can happen, then it's not
Mm-hmm.
going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where this idea came from that it's not sexy to schedule your sex, but it actually is, at least for me. I think it's extremely sexy to know that I can look on my calendar and I'm like, on this day, I'm getting my back broken, I'm getting my cheeks clapped by insert name. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
Or
sorry. I love when my wife called me talking about stuff. Yo, I need some attention when you get home. That makes the work. That make the work day just go by fast. Like I'm about to get some when I get home.
exactly. And it could be as simple as that. Like, even if you don't plan it out, like, months in advance, if your
Mm-hmm.
person hits you up and it's
Yeah.
like, yo, I need that dick to be ready for me when I get home. Or
Mm-hmm.
make sure that pussy is piping ready for me when I come through the door, you know? And then exercising foreplay throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
That just makes it so exciting. I don't like it's it could be simple, but again, with all the other things that are going
Mm-hmm.
on mentally, and
Mm-hmm.
then all the other responsibilities that can occur as
Mm-hmm.
far as having kids and having to maintain the household and having deadlines at work and all of that, like, I get it. And those are situations where maybe it's not a full on hour, but maybe you just got 5 minutes and you can do a little bit of something,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you can put a pin in it and come back to it later. It's like leftover,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Hell yeah. Because to me I tell anybody this because it's funny because when I'm hearing relationship advice, it's always for motherfuckers that only been together 3 years. You know what I'm saying, or 2 years, or 6 months. I'm like, you can't tell me shit because y'all ain't been through nothing. Because I always believe the key to a relationship is how you adjust to your mate's changes and vice versa. You know, period. So part of that is the sex. Because yeah, I tell anybody, sex changes when you get kids. Because you be sitting about ready to get it on, and then little Junior walks in on you. you know, period. Or the baby crying with right with the bill, he getting head, and you like, I gotta go, period. So it makes sense to schedule. Period. At the end of the day. But it just, the problem is that people have in their mind this is what sex supposed to be. They're not willing to adjust to it or change up, because let's just be real. People are scared of change.
But change is life. You can look in nature and see it. Mm-hmm. And we mimic nature. Mm-hmm. So change is a part of life. And it's like you said, it's all about the adjustment. If you are not willing to adjust, then you will have a failed sex life. Mm. Even in the midst of a sexual experience, there has to be adjustments. You ever tried to get into a position that you thought was gonna work and it just didn't work? Like, or like the loss of an erection. And this is from both ends, because both female bodies and male bodies get erections. I've definitely tapped a partner on the shoulder and been like, my erection's gone. I can feel when my clitoris shrinks back down and she goes to sleep. I just be like, let's just stop here, right? And do something else, or just hold me. Let's just kiss, whatever.
Yeah.
And so you have to be willing to take the ego out of the bedroom and just focus on what's happening and focus on pleasure, love, and connection. And be willing to make the shifts and the changes throughout the experience. And, as we grow and as we evolve and learn more, and we read and we have life experiences or whatever, our attractions and the things that make us feel good are going to shift. What I like right now at 35 is not the same as 25 whatsoever. Like, I'm way kinkier than, because I stepped into my kinkiness. I'm way kinkier now than what I was at 25. At 25, I would see things but was afraid of it. And so it took for me to go into coaching to really step into kink. And so, to expect sex and sexual desire and all of that to stay the same throughout life is a fantasy in itself. And, I think that some people feel like they're an island, that they are only experiencing this and no one else is. This is why, you got to come out of your own space and come into the spaces where people are talking about sex and engaging with sexuality. So you can understand, it's more people out here experiencing what you're experiencing than just you. And I think that makes people feel normal. This is why on Twitter, I have a public discourse around sexual topics and topics of intimacy and love, because people get to see that individuals from around the world share the same sentiments. It's not just them. And I think that that's a really big help for people who think that it's impossible for them to move out of the situations that they're in. Because some people really do feel hopeless and helpless, because they're just like, well, it's never going to change, so whatever. And sometimes, you're in, unfortunately, you're in a loving relationship that's just not sexually compatible. And so when that happens, what do? There are options, but people are not willing to come out of their ego to access those options.
Yeah. Because even to the point, a lot of people being in a sexual marriage, but not open to an open marriage or open to poly, period. Because even to the point, even if we're talking to the dude, he's looking for someone to fuck his wife, period. Because he know that she's, hypersexual, and he's open to it. But a lot of times these guys, they get stuck in their head because they're worried about, she might get a bigger dick than me. He might make her. I'm like, really, dude?
You know what? I think men get way too hung up on the big dick thing, because it's not how big the dick is. It's about the connection to the penis owner, and how the dick is used.
Mm.
Women across the board, across the world, because I've done polls of this on Instagram and Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Across the board, the average woman is like, I'll take an average size.
Yeah.
Because an average size, I don't have to brace for impact. I don't have to work it in. I can do more positions and different angles, and it's gonna be fine. So that 5.5 to 6 inches is enough. It's all about how you use it. Now you got size queens out there that like them 8 inch and aboves.
Man, they be goddamn lying to the teeth. Because soon they get a goddamn 10-inch, they talk about some, nah, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good.
Listen, I want all the smoke. Give me that. I want all the smoke.
I had girls goddamn look at my 9.5 curve and like, I don't know. I don't know, you thick.
Listen, I want all the smoke. Give me that. You know, like I always say this. I'm like, I'm an equal opportunity dick employer. You know, I look, I will not a micro penis. I'm not going to be penetrated by a micro penis, but there are other things we can do with that.
Yeah.
But from average all the way up to extra large schlong, I'm here for it. You know?
Yeah, because even to me, because I tell people this all the time, because I had people ask me, that was like, how is it that you're able to date somebody? Because even before I got in porn, if a girl was in porn, she was an escort or in the sex work trade, I would still date her. And they were like, well, why? She fucking up with dudes. I said, dude, a woman can give away that pussy. Let me take my glasses off so my smokers understand this. A woman can give away that pussy a million times. She's not going to give away her heart and mind, but a few times. You want the heart and the mind. Fuck the pussy.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you got the heart and the mind, she ain't going nowhere. That's period.
Nowhere.
And then too, also, I'm the kind of dude, I'm a freak. I get turned on by watching somebody fuck my wife because I don't give a damn. If he make her toes curl in ways that I ain't, I'm like, okay, I'm learning. Okay, what he do?
Exactly.
What he do?
But
See?
That ego is crazy.
Yeah.
Ego
But even with sometimes with women, they ego with what we call it.
Yeah. See that right there. We don't talk about that enough. We don't. Yeah. We do not talk about the female ego and how female ego plays a role in sex and how sex is viewed. Because like I say this all the time, people are getting more into tantra and stuff, and I'm like, well, you do know that for men, tantra is all about becoming mostly orgasmic, which means he's going to learn semen retention so he can separate the process of ejaculation from orgasm. That is
right. There you go.
So then women have an ego around cum too. We are all programmed by pornography to prioritize the cum shot. And so if she don't see that cum, she takes it as a personal attack because she's like, oh, that must mean my pussy was trash or the sex wasn't good or he didn't enjoy himself. Listen, I know my pussy's good, whether he comes or not. Because sometimes I don't want you to come. You better hold that. You better hold that. So we can extend our time together. But so then the female ego then is bruised because she don't see the cum. So if a man is really trying to become a tantric being, like he won't be able to be in relationship with somebody whose ego is so rooted in seeing that cum, because cum is not going to be a process.
I'm glad you said that, because there's a search term called a ghost nut, where he has an orgasm and a nut and nothing comes out. I actually had a dude.
That's called an orgasm. That's an orgasm.
Yeah.
So this is the thing, right? This is the thing. The orgasm that men are the most used to is the ejaculatory orgasm that is directly connected to procreation. But male bodies can have over 11 different types of orgasms, and that's without ejaculate. The other like 10 plus are without ejaculation. And the thing is, this is your biological wiring. So the body doesn't know the difference between you having sex for pleasure or for procreation in general with the biological wiring, because it's just going to prepare to create another human every single time. That's what cum is about. But people treat seeds carrying precious DNA People treat
There's
cum
enough.
like
Yes.
a sport. Like they
Yeah.
like they treat it like a accessory, you know? And I'm like, because cream pie is like a whole thing in porn. And I'm like,
Mhm.
you do know that there's vital essence in that.
Yeah.
And that too, when it enters into the vagina, it changes the pH balance of the vaginal ecosystem. So it's
Mhm.
nothing just to take lightly or to play around with. But
Mhm.
yes, you call it a ghost orgasm, but it's just an orgasm.
Orgasm. Yeah.
It's just an orgasm, but it's because see, the orgasm that is accompanied
Mhm.
with ejaculation is short and it's like
Yeah.
a sneeze of the genitals. Now
Mhm.
imagine if you were able to feel the energy and the pulsations of an orgasm without coming, and that orgasm can last 3 to 5 minutes.
And I'm here to tell you, I done had one of them. And
I,
I'm gonna tell you, when the girl touched the back of my neck, orgasm. That was my wife
yeah.
was like, don't let him touch the back of your damn neck. Or even sometimes when I hug my wife, I just feel it.
Yep.
Because it's the problem is us as men, we are trained and taught. We don't realize that you can have an orgasm without having sex. We're not even trained to realize that foreplay begins before you get in the bedroom.
Facts.
That's for real. It could begin with a text. It could begin with a conversation. Period. I tell people, like even with me, with a woman, my orgasm begins with the conversation
Mhm.
because I can't have sex with a woman that don't stimulate me mentally.
I know that's right.
Period. Because of conversation. Period. That's a turn on when we can sit and have a talk. Like right there, she turning me the fuck on with this conversation. So
So you are a sapiosexual.
yeah. And I tell anybody this: give me an 8 with a brain, you can keep that dumb ass dime. I'm good.
Ain't with a brain, keep the dumbass dumb. I'm weak. Oh my gosh, but that's true though. But I'm hearing more men profess that, and more men come forward with this, um, especially in this day and age where um, it's like promoted, like
Mhm.
superficiality and materialism is promoted at an all-time high now. So you
Mhm.
have a lot of people, a lot of women specifically, who are getting the weave and the nails and spending
Mhm.
all this money on makeup and clothes and BBLs and all this shit, but they're not working
Mhm.
on their heart and they're not working on their mind. And so
Mhm.
they wonder why they sitting over here looking like a bad bitch, but you still broken inside. You still can't, you're not attracting the kind of people that you want to attract. And it's because
Mhm.
you're not working on your substance.
Mhm.
So personally, it's like
Yeah.
I know I'm a very attractive person, not
Mhm.
just physically, but I have a pure heart and I know
Mhm.
how to hold a conversation. And it's
Yeah.
very crazy to me that, and I'm seeing this on Twitter because we're having a public discourse about this too,
Mhm.
around like the challenges of dating right now. And that tweet is almost at 1 million impressions
Mhm.
because so many people are saying that people can't hold a conversation and there's no consistency and people just be out here lying, showing their
Oh,
benefits.
you know why, right? I'm
Why?
gonna go grandma. We don't court anymore. We don't court anymore. This our courting.
Yep.
No. See, I don't know your age because you say you're 35, so you
Yeah.
a couple years behind me. You feel me? Because I'm 47. I'm old. We had to go to the club and have a conversation with a chick. We
Right.
had to ask her phone. We had to ask her name. We had to ask her to get on the dance floor. Would you like to get on the dance floor? We
Yep.
bought her a drink. We had a conversation. Period. We got to know each other. We got to. Some of these motherfuckers don't even know the person's last name.
At all. I look, it really annoys me when I'm out, and a guy will see me and be like, the first thing he asks for is my phone number. I'm like, hello, your name is? Oh, my name Darnell. Okay, Darnell, nice to meet you.
Mm-hmm.
Where you from? Like I start a conversation, but you
Mm-hmm.
want to jump right into a phone number. You don't know shit about me. I was like, 2023, I'm not giving out my phone number,
Mm-hmm.
period. You only get my phone number if we've actually had some type of deeper engagement.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say, like, there's one lover that I have where we literally dated. Like we dated for 6 months before we even had sex.
Mhm.
And it was great because I was like, wow, I really like this. But people want to jump straight into sex, straight into Netflix and chill. Netflix and chill is for people who are in established relationships.
Amen.
Why are you jumping straight into coming to the crib to watch a movie? Like, look, when it was during the pandemic, I get it, but we're not living in the quarantine lockdown anymore.
Mhm.
Like, but even before then, it was still that because hookup culture or whatever.
Mhm.
And I am a lifestyler. I like to go to play parties and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But that's different than
But
saying
even in play parties, you still got to woo the woman.
yes, you do. It's not like
Man walking to the swinger party. Yeah, man walking to the swinger party. I pay 50. I'm automatically supposed to get the pussy. No, motherfucker, you actually got to talk to the lady.
nah, because you can't just roll up on me and think, because I'm very particular. Like, usually at these parties, I'm not really interacting with people that deep because I'm like, I can feel the energy in the room. And I'm like, I'm uninterested.
Yeah,
So, and if you're not willing to come up to me and have a conversation with me and talk to me, then we ain't doing nothing.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, it's just, we're living in a time where people don't want to work. They don't want to put in the work. And that's what I'm seeing too. In this thread, is like a lot of people saying, I just don't want to, I don't have the energy. I don't want to put in the work. It's too much work. And really, it starts with self first. So what I hear
Mhm.
when I hear people saying, I don't want to do the work, I'm like, oh, so you don't want to work on yourself.
Basically.
That's really what it is. So to deflect and say it's about these other people not doing X, Y, and Z, it's like, well, what part of yourself do you still need to work on if that's the experience that you're having right now? If you're only attracting people that are liars, then there is something in yourself that you're not being honest about. People,
But what
people
boy Kurt Hogan ain't got something to do with it's your pussy which attracted them. You gotta choose what type of pussy you got that's attracting these motherfuckers.
and you know what too? Sometimes like we're attracting people that are going through a healing process and they need what we have.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not even about it's that's just what it is. But people misplace it, just be like, how come I keep attracting this kind of person? When you are a higher conscious being, especially as a person who is very sexually aware and attached to the spirituality in sex, then you understand. Like
Yeah.
it's deeper than just, oh, let me get this nut off. It's literally this person is seeking a healing experience through sex because it is an energetic exchange. And like me as a tantric person, I understand that a lot of times people's attraction to me is really their souls calling out for healing in a way that they're not receiving from other sources. So I don't take offense to someone coming into my space who feels or sees or seems broken because I'm like, well, this person is coming for medicine. I have a remedy. So do I want to play alchemist for this person right now through the power of the pussy? Or do I just want to say good day to you, sir? you know, it is what it
I
is.
can't. I like her. I love her. I knew this was gonna be a great interview. God damn it! I knew it.
It's deep. It's deep with me. It's like
Yeah.
sometimes it's like let's just have our fun. But even in the midst of us having our fun, it is so deep for me. Like it's not just I don't
Yeah,
know
cause
how
cause
to be
I need
superficial.
more than cause even with me, I need more than just you good looking, got a fat ass and good pussy.
Right.
Period. Because I want the connection. I want the energy. Because a lot of people, I'm a very proponent of energy. And I always say when women leads this. Women, let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100. My mama taught me better than this. She knows who she's fucking when she walk in the door. It's just our job not to say something stupid to fuck it up. Period. So
Exactly.
dudes, you think you macking? No, they're the max.
We
We
choose.
receive the pussy. They give us the pussy. You feel
We
me?
choose. It's so funny to me because I say this all the time. I'm like, you're very bold to come to me saying what you want to do to me, but if I haven't chose you, it's a violation and you're going to get blocked. Because if I don't know you from Adam and you slide in my DM talking about you want to fuck me, it's never going to happen, sir. I don't know who the fuck you are. I choose. And I let them think that they're doing the choosing. It's like if I bring you into my personal space, you're already on the list of a potential lover. And depending on how the conversation goes and the interactions go, will determine if you end up in my bed. Because it doesn't always end up like that where I choose someone and then we end up as sexual lovers. It doesn't.
Yeah.
So I just always think that's funny. I'm like, oh, okay, you thought for the whole time you don't even understand that I planned this out thoroughly without you even knowing. It's a beautiful, it's a beautiful dance. It really is.
Yes, it is. See, she just basically one of my favorite songs is Summer Walker and Aria Lennox called Queen Space. She just basically did the song right there. If anyone ever heard it, yes, I allowed you to come in. I allowed you to share my space. Period. Because that's why I said with a lot of these young heads, and they don't court, they don't talk to the woman. They automatically think that because I show up and I got a big dick, you're gonna fuck me. No, you have to give her a reason to want to fuck you, dog.
Exactly. And sometimes so there's a plethora of reasons why women have sex. It could be just for straight pleasure. It could be to reduce anxiety. It could be to blow off steam. It could be just to feel stretched out. It could be, to go to sleep. It could be sympathetic pussy that's being given, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's for money. Sometimes it's for opportunity. Sometimes it's for revenge. I mean, there's so many reasons why, like with like so many motivations behind why sex is happening. And so it's important to know. It's important to know what it is.
Yeah.
Because you can feel that energy. You can feel the energy when
Yeah.
it's, when you're in a sexual situation. Especially when you are a conscious person. Now, if you're not really that conscious and you just, just primal base level, then you might not be that aware. You just focusing on, I got to get to the nut like a machine, right?
Yeah.
But a person that is consciously entering into these experiences understands that it's always more than what meets the eye. And when you can really, tune into that, then sex becomes transformative and not just something to do.
Yeah, because even with me, I'm a pleaser anyway. Maybe because I'm a Taurus, I don't know. But it's I want her to enjoy the experience as much as me. I want her to orgasm just as much as me, if not more. Period. Part of that is reading the room. Part of that is paying attention to her body. Because the biggest mistake men make, and this is the truth, we try to do the same trick with two different women.
Right.
Big mistake, fellas. Because what might work for her, it may not work for the next chick. That's why you have to pay attention. Right. That's part of conversation. That's part of touching. That's part of the foreplay. People, dude, eating pussy, you don't realize how much you learn from eating pussy. I'm just saying.
Listen.
I'm just saying.
I like eating pussy because, like, I know how I would want my pussy ate, and so I've never strucken out with a woman who I've, played with. And then also when I go into penetration and using toys on her, like, I know what areas to hit. I mean, because I know my own vagina and I know the anatomy of the vagina, and so I can play around in there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, once you know the keys, then you know how to apply it to different bodies. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things where, and I see this a lot, where I've been getting a lot of men who can come to me asking me about how to become better lovers because I guess they feel like they're just not there. right? They're not delivering consistently. And it's a few simple things that can be done, but it's all about putting in the work. And for the most part, communicating and listening to what your partner is saying.
Yes.
Oh my God, I've literally experienced it where like, oh, this man's on autopilot. You know, it's like he got a routine and he just stick to that routine.
Uh-huh.
And if you throw him out of that, now his erection is gone because he don't know what to do outside of them 5 moves. I'm like, Jesus, get this man, please take this man.
Because I think a lot of men don't know how to be good lovers.
No.
And see, and once again, it goes back to courting. See,
Yes.
Conversation teaches you a lot about the person. It teaches you, like my mama told me, she said, it's what they ain't saying is what they're saying. You have to pay attention to that. And she said, you should be able to know somebody within a 5-minute conversation. But because us as men now, and I'm hearing this from the Manosphere and all these men, these podcasters, y'all don't know a woman if the motherfucker jumped on your face with her pussy.
I'm so tired of these damn podcasts and these men who claim to be experts in some shit and they all sound like egotistical children. Like, are you kidding me? There's some good podcasts out there and some great guys who are like saying amazing things that are like spot on. But there's a lot of them that have these bigger followings because they're just placating to ignorance. And I hate it with a passion. Like,
yeah.
Like people really don't take the time to be intimate anymore. And what I mean by that is the vulnerability that comes with being actually seen and heard. And knowing that a person, and that you can trust a person with the intimate inner knowings of yourself. People don't even trust themselves. So how can they trust another person to hold that kind of space for them? And I've found myself recently like feeling very taken aback, but also aroused when lovers ask me certain questions like, what's bringing you joy right now? You know, what made you smile this week? How can I support you right now? Is there anything that I can do to help, you know, whatever you're doing, insert thing, be easier for you? I'm like, wow, actually care? Like,
yeah,
you care?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm trying not to judge it, but it feels sad that these things that get to be commonplace for us are not. And that when you find a person that is on that type of time, they seem rare and they seem like, you know, the greatest thing on earth because they are expressing genuine care. It's like, God damn, how far have we fallen as a society where
you can hear it in the music.
Oh my God, don't get me started.
Babe, I come from Jodeci.
Yes.
Keith Sweat, Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
Get the OJs, got they Brandy. Come on. You feel me? When men was willing to be vulnerable.
Man, they was crying. They was crying, begging me, I'm begging, baby, I'm begging, baby, begging. Yeah.
That's my favorite album, god dang it. But yeah, it's now we gonna fuck this and the third, you know. I'm gonna bring you back out.
Fuck it. Listen to it. They only want top now.
Yeah.
They only want top and they want to hang around their guys. And what's funny is I'm like, it's so funny to me how homosexuality, like there's a lot of internalized homophobia, but y'all out here fucking your boys. Just say it. Just say it. Out here fucking your boys. Because you only want top from this woman. You don't want nothing else. It's because either you get in you in somebody's ass or somebody in your ass. And look, I'm for that. Look, I am queer, so I'm not judging it. But it's a problem because front face, they're professing to be straight, but you can hear it in the music. It's like, no, either they're bisexual or they're actually full on gay, but they are just playing straight. because you see what I'm saying?
Preach, sister, preach.
The deception is real. And that's also another thing that a lot of people on my Twitter are talking about right now. Again, being met with the representative and not being met with the genuine person, because people are so afraid of being judged or being canceled or being outed or whatever. But it's like, if you lay everything out on the table, then a person's autonomy is not being stripped from them. But it's when you're not honest. Now it feels like betrayal. Now it feels like you stole something from a person because you didn't give them a choice. You basically, it's like coercion in a way. You didn't tell them all the things that were key factors. And now all of a sudden you're upset that they're upset at you. It's like you should have been honest, because you cannot create a foundation of a relationship on deceit. It will be like dynamite that will make the whole fucking structure explode at some point. And
I'm sorry. If you give me head, I'm gonna want to try the pussy. I'm sorry. I don't. Any man that see talk say, yeah, I just won't talk. Yeah, so I'm gonna look at you like you side. I'm gonna look at you sideways, dog. Because if a girl gives me good talk, she can give me bad talk. I'm gonna want to taste the pussy at some point. I'm like, you know something. If the head like this, let me see how the pussy is. You know, but I also think too, it's because you hear these women, R&B artists, rappers, that's all they talk about. The top. I give my man good head. I give my man good head.
And just and sitting on faces and giving up and making him eat her pussy, but not actually penetrating the pussy. That's being said by these female rappers too. It's like, oh no, you can't feel it. You can only give me top.
Yeah.
You know, oh, you thought I was feeling you, the nigga a munch. Like, ain't nothing wrong with being a munch, and there's nothing wrong with like having an oral fixation and allowing oral to be a standalone sex act in itself. But this is where we're at now. It's all about oral and no penetration,
because it's not about pleasing our mate, it's about pleasing our ego.
And also think about this: with penetration, there is a greater level of energetic exchange. So really what I'm hearing is that people don't want to be deeply connected to these individuals, but they still want to feel pleasure. So they would rather it be oral, where the focus is primarily on the clitoris or, of course, like mouth to penis, versus vaginal or anal penetration, which, tends to carry a deeper charge. And so it's like, okay, so if you don't want to connect with that person deep like that, that is your prerogative. And it also places into question, why? Why are you doing any type of sexual act with this person if you're trying to police how deeply you connect with them?
And two, I feel this too. It speaks to the person of how they feel about themselves. That I'm not worth to go to full throttle for.
And again, I'm not saying that anything is wrong with just having oral sex, because it's still sex, it's still a connection, it still feels good, it's still intimate, and all of that. Because we do live in a society where sex is very penis centric or penetrative centric, penis and vagina centric. And so I am in the business of helping people expand their ideas outside of that for what sex could look like. But when we're speaking about the music, it's like the intention behind that is not that. It feels like what we have been talking about, just how there's like a disassociation or a disconnection. Like, people was making love back then. Now everybody's just fucking and sucking. And it's like, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. I think part of it was technology. Because like I said, we didn't have this. We didn't have these. That means when I went out to dinner with you, we had to talk because there was no cell phone. You know, period. At the end of the day, I'm sorry if I go on to dinner with you and you on the cell phone the whole time. I'm getting up walking out. I'm like, you ain't worth my time because you don't think I'm important enough to have a conversation with.
And whatever's in that phone is gonna be there later. Like I've
Yes,
literally gotten
Lord.
into the habit of when I walk into a date, I just tuck my phone in my purse and I don't take it out. And like I gotta watch for a reason. So if I want to see the time, and it's
Yeah.
an Apple Watch. So if there is something important like an email or something that comes through, it's gonna come through on my phone
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna see it and I can just read it from here. And it won't be as disruptive as
Mm-hmm.
taking out my phone and going like this.
Yeah.
So quick little check of the watch, put it away, and I'm back engaged with that person. Because I'll tell you what did it for me. It was me being out with my family members, my mom, my dad, and my sister.
Mm-hmm.
When I first really started building my social media presence, and it was
Mm-hmm.
me being on the phone in moments where we were supposed to be bonding as a family, where they would get
Mm-hmm.
frustrated with me. It's just like, can you just put that phone down for a minute? And so after seeing how it was impacting my family, I was like, fuck this. I'm going to be more present and put my phone away and live life instead of trying to document it or instead of trying to see what's happening on Twitter right now. It's like
Mm-hmm.
the shit will be there once you're done. You spending 2-3 hours with your family, spend those 2-3 hours, and then you can go back to Twitter later.
See, Denzel Washington said it best. I saw it on Instagram. He said, "We don't want to admit we're addicted
Yeah.
to our phone.
It's a
We're
dopamine
addicted."
rush.
Yeah.
And there are scientific studies that have been done about this. It's like every time we hear that ding or we hear a buzz, it's literally giving us a
Pavlov's dogs.
Pavlov's dog. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yo, it's ridiculous. And so I'm to the point where I just want to automate my social media and only be responsible for going on and responding to comments because I want to live my life without feeling attached to social media. And when you have a brand that is rooted in social media and
Yeah.
on the internet, it can be a little difficult. But when you get to the point where you can hire people to do that kind of stuff, then you put it in their hands and you save time. You buy time. So I'm I don't know how things are going to go with human interaction as AI continues to develop and take over certain things.
Woo!
Um, but this is
I'm about to
why
bring you back.
jobs
We gonna have a lot. We look. I can't hold up for no 2 to 3 hours because girl, we could talk about 4 hours out this piece. You talk about AI and the Oculus and all that. And girl.
Look, this is why my job is important because right now people are suffering from touch deprivation.
Yes.
The 3 years of us being in the pandemic where we had to physically distance from each other has us fucked up right now as a society.
Think about how many motherfuckers got divorced during the pandemic and you ain't home together.
That was, look, people didn't even realize that they had nothing in common, that they had spent years with a person and they really were not together on the same page. So when they were in the house together and they had to spend time with each other without having to go to the office here, go to this event here, when they were together, it was like, oh shit, you really not the person that I thought that you were. This really is not what it is. And they had to get the fuck out of it. They did. And then unfortunately though, for some people, it catapulted them back into the dating scene after so many years of not being in it, and it is 100% different.
Different, yes, Lord. I
Oh,
ain't even gonna lie. I'm glad that I'm married. I don't want to get back in the dating scene. Even though I'm in the open,
stay married.
I'm in the open marriage and poly. I still don't. No.
That you said a word right there because I have friends that are they're poly too, and so one group of my friends they play and they got other partners and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that, mostly for play, but they
Yeah.
haven't brought anybody else in as a girlfriend or another boyfriend
Yeah.
because they're just it's crazy out here. And then I have other friends who are poly or sexual opportunists, and they spend the majority of their time with their primary because it's crazy out here. And then especially if you are an adult film star or a sex worker, you know, a person that has a personality, it's not easy to know if somebody wants to know you for you or if they just want to know you for your clout.
That part.
And that's like one of my things. I'm just like, I can't do the dating apps. So
no, I wouldn't do the dating apps. I wouldn't. No. Me, I would have to go to the Carolina Ale House and buy a lady a drink and we have a fucking conversation. That's how I would want to do it. I don't want to Twinder. I don't want to sit here and talk to you on Twitter. No, because see, that's the other thing. I learned so much from you on your profile, which makes me think I know you. No, I don't know you. I just know what you're telling me, what I should know, not what I need to know.
Exactly. And that's where people have the game fucked up because it's like this profile is a snapshot. This is not a full screening of this person. And they're only going to put up the good stuff.
Yeah.
Some people, though, they so goofy that the stuff that they put up on their profile outs them as somebody to not be trusted. And I'm like, thank you for putting your red flags up right away. But people assume that they know things about me just because I'm very vocal on the internet. But I'm like, but I'm very vocal based on my job. So a lot of what you see is going to be sexually based or spiritually based, or like production based. But that's not the full gambit of who I am. Like you have to really be with me, have conversation with me, spend time with me to get to know me. Like we can start a conversation on the internet, but eventually if we are having a vibe, because that's how I screen people, if we can have a conversation through text on, you know, in the DMs, then I'll slide you my number, you know, but if we can't even have a conversation and you ask it for my phone number, you got the game twisted. So,
can't put the cart before the horse.
You cannot, but they be trying. And every single last guy that slides into my DM or swipes right on me on an app thinks that he's perfect for me. All because he sees a face, a nice body, and a profile that looks like I'm approachable. But it's like, you have no idea. Like, it's more to me than meets the eye. I'm most of the time not on your level, not in your league.
Is that me?
Yes.
The hell? Hold on one second. Oh, that's my door. Hold on. Let me tell my daughter. And let me call you back, baby. I'm in the middle of recording. I'm gonna call you right back. Yeah, that's my baby girl I done reconnected with. I'm gonna call you back, baby. I'm in the middle of a show. Okay. Love you. Yeah, that's my baby girl reconnected with and everything. So hell yes. So right there, that's a great stopping point right there. Cause I done held this business lady up. And as y'all hear, we have a lot. I got to bring her back because we it's a lot we ain't touched on. We ain't even, God, it's a lot we ain't touched on, baby.
We just scratched the surface in an hour, 30 minutes, but like we could be talking for hours about this stuff. Okay,
that's what I'm saying. I see now. Me and her gonna become good friends. I see that now. because I like her mind. You know, I love an alpha female that's smart. That's my weakness in life. I'm sorry. I don't like weak women. I can't stand them. My mama wasn't a weak woman, so why would I want one in my life? That's just me. You know what I'm saying? Especially I love me a strong black one too, like her.
Yes, my parents raised me right. Okay.
Yes, I see. Yeah. How tall are you, baby?
5'10" and a half.
5'10". Are we the same height?
Yep, I am a stallion, as they say.
Yes, you are a stallion. You gorgeous. I didn't see the pics. Man,
listen, people be shook when they see me in real life because, you know, Instagram and Twitter, they put you in a small box.
Yeah.
And they see me in real life and they realize that I am really tall with body
Yeah.
and big energy. So they just be like, whoa, what the fuck?
I like that. I find that sexy. So with that being said, baby girl, like I do all my guests, cause I got to bring you back. Can I call you a smoke buddy?
Yeah, I'm gonna smoke weed though.
Oh yeah, that's what we want. I just didn't have no weed today. That's why I'm smoking cigarettes. So people, y'all heard it, and y'all know what it is. She will be back here on the Smokers Lounge, and I might for my subscribers bring her on the Premium Smoke Room. Y'all know how that works. The best smoke is always premium. We
Yes,
talking
it is.
about 5 premium podcasts for you to enjoy, more uncensored, more unpredictable, more wilder. A titty might pop out, a popsicle
Yeah.
might pop in the mouth. You don't know unless you subscribe, because what happens in the premium smoke room stays in the premium smoke room unless you pay that $4.99 a month. So with that being said, tell everybody where they can find you, gorgeous.
You can find me on Instagram at Real Glamazon Tayomi, on Twitter at Glamazon Tayomi. If you are a woman and you want to learn how to ride, come join my online tribe at thecowgirlworkout.com. And you can find me on YouTube, Glamerotica 101, and free sex advice at glamerotica101.com. You can actually catch me at the Exotica Expo Chicago, April 21st through the 23rd.
Damn that bitch on my birthday.
It's our kickoff show. It's about to be lit. So it's also our 50th show anniversary. So it's going to be a big one. And I will be hosting a play party as well in celebration of our 50th. So, come out, meet me, have a great time, and maybe we'll get to play together after the show.
All I got to say, I just want a hug. I'll be happy with a
I give
hug.
great hugs.
Oh, I believe you just look so cuddly. I could just cuddle
I
with you
do.
all day. So with that being said, we're at the end of another great episode. You know how we end these things all day, every day. Life is a learning experience. What's the point of the experience if you haven't learned anything? Smoke this over. Say goodbye to everyone, Tyone.
See you later, y'all. Happy smoking, smokers.